Hi, this is Andrew at Wilson Depot. In this video, I will give you an overview what is PMP certification and everything that you need to know before you start the PMP journey. I will go over what is PMP certification, what are the steps to become PMP certified professional, and then we'll go into a little bit more in depth with PMP requirement, application, and audit process. Then we'll go over the PMP exam content and the format. I will also go over the typical costs for preparing the PMP certification and what are the benefits of getting PMP certification and whether that's right for you or not. PMP, which stands for Project Management Professional, is a very well respected and internationally recognized professional designation for project managers. In order for the project manager to earn this designation, the project manager must demonstrate that they have the necessary experience in leading and directing the project from start to finish. The project manager also must demonstrate that they have mastered the project management body of knowledge, which is the PMBOK guide, by passing the PMP exam. The overall process, the certification, and administration is governed by the Project Management Institute. Now let's take a look at the overall process for getting the PMP certification. In the diagram below, I have laid out a process as well as the estimated amount of time for completing each of the steps. And one thing to be noted is that PMP certification is a little bit different from some of the certification, where some of the certification may allow you to sit for the exam and then earn the work experience later, but that's not PMP certification. PMP certification requires that you have the work experience before you apply for the examination. So therefore, the first step, the requirement, depending on whether you have a college degree or not, you require 3 years or 5 years of project management experience. And once you have the experience requirement, then you can go ahead and then take the 35 education hours. And once you complete both requirements, then you can submit the application. Once you submit your application may be randomly selected for audit. And once you pass the audit or you skip the audit, then you could pay for the examination fee and then start to prepare for the examination. And generally, most candidates spend about 1 to 2 months to prepare for the exam at this stage. And once you pass the exam, then congratulations, you are a certified PMP professional. And what you have to do at this point is to maintain your certification. And the requirement is that you had to complete 60 professional development units in every 3 years. Now let's have a closer look into each of the process. As mentioned before, depending on whether you have a 4-year college degree or not, there are different requirements. If you have a 4-year degree, then you require a minimum of 3 years of project management experience. And you also require to complete 4,500 hours of project management work. Whereas if you do not have a college degree, then the minimum requirement is 5 years of project management experience. And you also have to complete 7,500 hours of project management work. And both tracks require that you complete the 35 educational credit. The 35-hour education credit must be a course that's led by instructors, and then it can be done online or in a virtual class or in a real class settings. So the online class can be an on-demand course as well. So you have the flexibility to watch at any time when you're available. And keep in mind that you should only register the class with the registered education provider that are approved by PMI. As far as the work experience requirement, it can be project management experience from any industry. And then there's also no specific requirement for the job title. So you do not necessarily have to be a project manager title in order to apply for the PMP certification. However, the experience in a project management must be a leading and directing project experience. If you are just a project contributor or project member, it will not be sufficient. And you must be able to lead the project from start to finish, which means that the experience must cover all 5 domain groups from initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, control, and closing a project. Now let's have a look at the application process. So the purpose of the submitted application is that you need to demonstrate that you have meet the minimum qualification that you stated. So the way that you do that is that you have to write a project description for each of the project and indicate when and how long you work on the project, as well as the project summary. Now, there are a few things that you need to be aware. The project experience, as I mentioned, must be a project leading and directing experience. And the project description should include project methodologies. So it can be tricky for some of the candidates, which is why I have other videos that talked about the tips, as well as the common mistakes that other candidates make when they write their project descriptions, as well as another video where I cover and then give you an actual example and then explain in detail. Now, once you submit the application, there's a random selection process for the auditing. And once you submit the application, then you will find out if you actually get selected for audit immediately or almost immediately. And so the recommendation is that you should not guess whether you'll be audited or not. You should always try to be honest with the application and never exaggerate. So assuming that you do get selected for audit, what you need to do is you need to prepare your college diploma or transcript, assuming that you have a college degree, and the certificate for completing the 35 contact credits. And also you need to print out your application and then have it signed by your supervisor or a colleague who knows your project well. And once you have all these information, then you need to submit as one package to PMI for review. And once you pass the audit, then you could sign up for the exam. The PMP exam tests your knowledge for leading the project from start to finish, which covers the 5 domain groups from initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, control, and closing. And it also covers the 10 process areas which span across the 5 domain groups. So the 10 process areas are integration management, cost management, scope management, schedule management, communication management, quality management, procurement management, risk management, resource management, and stakeholder management. Another terminology that we hear quite often is ITTO, which stands for Input, Tools and Technique, and Output. So each of the process area will have a number of processes, and for each of the process, we'll have a number of inputs that goes into a process, and using a number of tools and techniques to produce output. And those output in turn may become input of another process. So now that you know the exam content, let's take a look at the exam format. So the PMP exam is a 200 multiple choice questions. There are 4 choices per question, and there are no additional penalties if you guess it wrong. So it is always your best interest to finish all questions. The exam is a 4-hour exam. And within the 200 multiple choice questions, there are 25 questions that are not graded and used for future testing purpose. Those 200 questions are randomly generated and not in particular sequence. So the 25 questions can appear anywhere. The questions are not adapted in the sense that if you answered it right or wrong, it will not make the test harder or easier. The passing rate is 61%, which means that you have to get 61% of 175 questions correct in order to pass the test. If you fail the test, PMI allows you to take up to 3 exams within 1 year, and after 1 year, you have to take a 1-year break before you can attempt for the next exams. Once you pass the PMP exam, congratulations, you are now a PMP certified professional. What you have to do at this point is to maintain your PMP certification, and the requirement is that you must earn 60 professional development units in every 3 years. PMI actually offers many ways for you to earn PDU for free, as well as through the paid courses. You can learn more about each of the ways how you can earn PDU from the link below. In case if you are wondering, my personal favorite is to watch the online digital media from projectmanagement.com, as well as networking through attending local chapter meetings, volunteering, as well as share knowledge. Here is a chart that lists the overall cost of earning the PMP certification. First is the PMI membership, and as a new member, you are required to pay $10 extra on top of the membership renewal fee. Next is the PMP exam. As a member, you pay the lower rate, which is $405. If you are not a member, then you have to pay the $555. Therefore, it actually makes sense to become a PMI member before you sign up for the exam. Another benefit of becoming a PMI member is that you get to download the electronic version of the PMBOK guide for free, and as well as pay the lower rate for the printed copy of the PMBOK guide. Next is the cost of getting the 35 contact hours. The cheaper option would obviously be the on-demand webinar that you can watch and finish at your own time. And generally, the on-demand webinar costs around $229 up to around $400. The more expensive alternative will be to attend the live instructor trainings. For the online live training, it generally costs around $1,000. But if you opt for the traditional class approach, it will generally cost close to $2,000. Next is the online practice exam simulator. I do recommend that you get a good quality online exam simulators, and it generally costs from $70 up to $150. Some candidates may find it helpful to get a PMP study guide, which you can find on Amazon. And generally, one of the study guide can cost somewhere between $50 up to $100. If you are still thinking whether you should become a PMP, here are a number of reasons why people get the PMP certification. First, people are looking for self-improvement, and by learning the knowledge, they can do their job better. Next, PMP is a well-respected designation that is internationally recognized. And by having a PMP designation, you demonstrated that you have the skill set and knowledge to take on more challenging projects and then advance your career. According to PMI surveys, PMP candidates generally earn between 15 to 20% more than the peers who does not have PMP certification. Another benefit with PMP is that it is not specific to a particular industry. Therefore, whatever you learn is portable across any industries. Many of the project management job listings either prefer or even require PMP certification. Therefore, by having the PMP certification, you will make yourself more visible to the recruiters. Last but not least, by having the PMP certification, you will increase your opportunity to network with project management professionals. Thank you for watching. I hope you find the information helpful. And if you want to learn more about project management certification, please visit pm@woodsondepot.com or consider subscribe for future videos. Thank you.